Today we're going to be talking about three teams that could ruin Jackson State's season. Who are the three teams that could absolutely crush, ruin it, make it season incomplete, season to fail during the year for JSU, for Coach Prime, for Deion Sanders, for the rest of the gang? Let's talk about it after the bumper. What's good, good people? What's good, good people? My name is JeffLightsYJr. here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, today I'm here to talk about the three schools, the three teams, the three programs, the three games that could absolutely ruin Jackson State Tigers, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, Shador, QB1, Travis Hunter, everybody, ruin their season. They could absolutely ruin their season. Now, here are the three games that could ruin the JSU season and make it a failure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the JSU football schedule. And we're starting right there at game number 1 against FAMU. Now, these are three games that I realistically believe could ruin Jackson State's season. And we're talking right there, September 4th, Sunday in Miami Gardens, the Orange Blossom Classic. It's supposed to be a blowout for JSU. Right there in Miami, it could ruin Jackson State's season from the jump before it even really gets started. Why? Because FAMU last year, after the 7-6 loss, didn't lose another conference game. FAMU last year, after the 7-6 loss, never had a chance at winning the SWAC championship. They needed help from Jackson State, help that they did not give them. JSU going 8-0 in the SWAC, winning the SWAC East title, the same SWAC East that FAMU was in. Even though FAMU went 7-1 in SWAC games, Jackson State went 8-0. They gave FAMU no help, and they went on to play in the SWAC championship game, won that game against the SWAC West champion in Prairie View, and went on to play in the Celebration Bowl. FAMU never had a chance because they needed help from Jackson State. And so now I'm talking about this year. If Jackson State loses this game 1, they may not get another chance at defending their SWAC championship, because I don't think FAMU's losing another SWAC game if they win. I don't think they'll lose a game in the SWAC again this year. I think FAMU is a complete football team, both on offense and defense. The only thing is FAMU's got to figure out the quarterback. And I don't know if FAM will have the quarterback battle completely resolved by game 1. Why do I say that? Well, if you go back to the not the Celebration Bowl. If you go back to the Orange Blossom Classic last year, FAMU had Rashawn McCray, and he didn't finish the game. He started the game, but they couldn't get any points. They only were able to manage 2 field goals, and they replaced him with a better passer who actually wasn't half bad. He was the freshman. I can't even think of his name off the top of my head, but he actually wasn't bad, played decently well for them. He wasn't able to get really many points. They weren't able to score any touchdowns, and that's what caused them to lose the game. That FAMU game, because here's the thing, Jackson State season is Celebration Bowl or bust. If they lose that first game against FAMU, their destiny is out of their head. They have no control over their destiny. They just have control of the rest of their schedule. They would need help from FAM to essentially lose 2 conference games, which I think that's utterly ridiculous this season. To lose 2 conference games for Jackson State to get a chance to play in the SWAC championship. So FAMU could derail the season before it even gets started, because I think FAMU's that talented, because I think they're that good, because I think they're going to give a real test, and if not beat JSU that first game of the season. So FAMU could ruin the Jackson State season before it even gets started. You can't lose that game, because if you do, you have no control over your destiny. You have no control on whether you can repeat as the SWAC East champs. You have no control on whether you can repeat as the SWAC champions. You have no control on whether you get even a chance to redeem yourself in the Celebration Bowl. So that's why FAMU is one game that could ruin JSU season. The next game that could ruin JSU season is this game against Campbell. Homecoming, October 22nd, the Blue Out. You expect to have 60,000 people in attendance. Campbell, a FCS program that is making a lot of noise on the recruiting trail. Coach Mentor and the Camels are making a whole lot of noise, both in the class of 22 and in the class of 23, making a whole lot of noise. Coach Mentor, a former NFL player. Coach Mentor, a guy who is getting in these living rooms and throwing his mouthpiece at these recruits. Coach Mentor, a guy who was out there, balling on the trail. Now, here's the thing. The reason why this would ruin the Jackson State season, it wouldn't count against their conference. They could still win the SWAC championship. They could still win the SWAC East title. They can still go on and win a Celebration Bowl. Even with this loss, it really doesn't affect any of those things. There's a couple of reasons why this would ruin the JSU season. One, this would be a big recruiting ploy for Campbell, a team that, don't need much more momentum in recruiting, but this would be a big feather in their cap. Two, let's be honest. Campbell their on the field success hasn't been great. It just simply hasn't. This was Campbell's record in 2021. Now I get it, 2021 and 2022 are completely different seasons. But this team was 3-8. This team was 3-8 in 2021, including losses to Hampton, including losses to other HBCUs. And so they were 3-8. They only won 3 games last year. In their 2022 schedule, let's take a look at that. In their 2022 schedule, they play a grand total of 4 HBCUs. North Carolina Central, 1. Jackson State, 2. North Carolina A&T, 3. And Delaware State, 4. Now, if somehow, some way, because Campbell wasn't very good last year, they were 3-8. If they're able to lose to Central and lose to A&T and lose to Del State, but somehow beat Jackson State, boy, we wouldn't hear the end of it. We would not hear the end of it. If they're able to, hell, even if they're able to win a couple of those games, but lose to, say, at A&T. The A&T is the big one. The A&T is the big one because Del State, North Carolina Central, people ain't. But A&T talks a lot of junk. The A&T fans, the A&T faithful, they're like, if we were still in MEAC, we'd still be running circles around the SWAC. We'd still be running circles around the MEAC because A&T, out of the 5 Celebration Bowl wins by the MEAC, A&T has 4 of them. Am I not mistaken on that? Out of the 5, think about this. The Celebration Bowl has only been played 6 times. It's been played 6 times. The MEAC has won 5. Out of those 5 wins from the MEAC, North Carolina A&T has won 4 of those. So that's a lot of bragging rights for the Aggies. That's a whole lot of bragging rights for the Aggies. And so in back-to-back weeks, Campbell plays Jackson State at Jackson and plays A&T at Greensboro. If somehow, some way, Campbell is able to beat Jackson State on their homecoming in front of probably 60,000 people with their number 1 recruit in Travis Hunter, their head coach being Deion Sanders, their quarterback 1 being Shedeur Sanders, the reigning Walter Payton Award-winning quarterback, the guy who says he wants to go in the first round of the NFL draft and has a legit chance to do it, they're able to upset Jackson State at Jackson and then come back the very next week. The very next week and beat North Carolina and lose to North Carolina A&T. You talking about Twitter would go on fire. Twitter would be set ablaze. Now, granted, that doesn't hurt Jackson State in the slightest when it comes to their standings or their rankings in the FCS rankings, but their chances of winning a SWAC championship or a Celebration Bowl doesn't hurt. But the fans would have to hear it and hear it a whole lot. And so that is why I say a loss to a 3-8 Campbell team from 2021 in 2022 would ruin the Jackson State season because you can't get that loss back. You can't get it back. And that's just that on that. That is my thoughts on that. And the third game, the third team, the third situation that could ruin the Jackson State football season. Let me go right on here. Let me scroll and let me show you. It is this game right here. The Celebration Bowl. December 17th, the Cricket Celebration Bowl at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. This is all they're playing for in 2022. This right here. A chance to redeem themselves on this stage in this moment. You can't get back what happened in 2021. That's done. That's over with. The South Carolina State, salute to you. This is a new season. But in this season, if this season, the Jackson State 2022 football season, if it does not culminate with the rising of a Cricket Celebration Bowl trophy on December 17th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the whole season was a waste. That's not coming from me. That is not coming from me. That is coming from Coach Prime himself. The season will have been a waste if they go 12-0, get to the Cricket Celebration Bowl, and lay another egg. Whether that's to South Carolina State, who a lot of you hope that's going to be there, or Norfolk, or anybody else in the MEAC. Howard, whoever. The season will have been a waste because you can't get back what happened in 2021. You got smack. That is what it is. That's gone. That's over with. That was last football season. This is a new football season. This year can be perfect. You can beat FAMU in that first game of the season. You can run through Grambling in September, beat up on Campbell at homecoming, run through the rest of the SWAC, go 8-0, go 12-0 during the season. But if you lose this game, it was all for nothing. It was all for nothing. Prime already said we won last year. We want to do more than winning. We want to dominate. We don't want to just win anymore because we did that. We was 8-0. We was perfect in the conference. We want to dominate. And I think a big reason, obviously everybody wants to win, but a big reason why he wants to dominate, not just win, but to dominate, one, that's in his nature, is what he talks about. He's always kind of preached that even when he was playing. But two, a big reason, just from my perspective, why he also wants to dominate is because he got dominated. Think about that. When he lost to UL Monroe, because Jack State lost twice last year. He lost to UL Monroe. They lost. They didn't get dominated. They couldn't score. Their offense just couldn't move the ball. They scored one touchdown and gave up a bunch of field goals, 4 field goals. They didn't get dominated. When they played close games against Del State and Valley, obviously they won those games, so they clearly didn't get dominated. But when they played the Bulldogs of South Carolina State and they lost that game 31-10 and couldn't move the ball at all in the second half and just looked dysfunctional in the second half and had all those turnovers in the second half and their DBs were getting destroyed by Shaq Davis in the second half, they got dominated. And so Prime, obviously he doesn't reflect on it. He said the game is over. Probably didn't even watch the tape. But the feeling is still there. The images are still there. The feeling of getting beat by 21 is still there. He got dominated. And so therefore, his mission for his team, he said, we already won. We want to dominate. This is a game that could ruin their season because it will all be for nothing if they don't win this game. They got to win that one to get to this one, but they expect to win this one, and they expect to win this one. But the only way to get to this one is to win that, so they plan on winning that, and they plan on going in 2 weeks later and dominating in that game. Ooh. I cannot wait for the season. But those are 3 games, 3 teams, 3 scenarios that could ruin the JSU season, whether it not be for the team, for the fans. Because like I said, the Campbell game won't ruin their season on the field. It might ruin it for a lot of fans, though, especially if A&T or Central beat Campbell in the same year. Or Dell State, too. My bad. I was like, hey, I'm missing somebody. A&T or Central or Dell State beat Campbell in the exact same year. What do you think? Am I all capped? Do you think that's just be doing too much? Or do you think those games can also ruin Jackson State's season? Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I think this is my prediction for JSU. I don't know if I even said this on wax. I think they go 13-0. I think they win the Celebration Bowl. I think games will be closer than a lot of people think. I also think that offensive line has to be better, or they won't. They won't go 13-0. But I think with their combination of quarterback, running back, receivers, and defense, I think they're going to win a lot of games with that quarterback, skill positions, and that defense. Because I think the defense got an upgrade in a lot of spots. They lost to James Houston. They lost to Antoine Owen. It's hard to replace those, especially at James Houston. But I think he got better in the back end. I think he got better in the secondary. And I think you now have a better collective of pass rushers. I don't think you got one individual that is just as good as James Houston. We have to wait and see if that happens. But I think you have a better collective of pass rushers, like a number of pass rushers. You might not get one guy to get you 16.5, but you might get multiple guys, get you 8, 9, 10, 11 sacks. Multiple guys. They led the country in sacks last year. I think they'll have another good chance of doing that again this year. But if you lose any of those 3 games, that's going to be tough. That is going to be rough. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a team. You know what I'm saying? To say that they essentially have to go undefeated to not get their season ruined, because all those other SWAC games count just as much as a FAMU game. I just think FAMU's the best team at all those other SWAC schools. So if you lose one of those, that can essentially ruin it too. I just think FAM has the best chance with it being week 1, with them having the best team. That's your biggest chance of losing to a SWAC school. That's just my opinion. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is JeffLightsyJr with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. Thank you guys again. And I'll see you next time. Peace.